Hello guys, I'm Derek Chris, and today I'm going to make this video a little bit different. I don't want to do a breakdown. I want to actually go a bit in depth into color grading process in Davinci Resolve. So this is what we are going to be creating. Let me go to full screen here. Oh my goodness, my Davinci has crashed. Well, welcome. Let us open Davinci again. It's part of the editing process. Alright, so we are back in Davinci. I think I should take my timeline resolution down a bit. I think that's what's causing the crash. My system is not super powerful, so let us take the timeline resolution down a bit. Then when I want to export, I can export as 4K. So right now, this footage is in a compound clip, so let's open it up. Opening timeline. Alright, let's go to the color grading tab. Okay, like I said, this is what we are going to be creating for this. I think I'm going to grade this and maybe this. I think, or this. So anyone, let's pick this footage as a start. So first thing we need to do when you have when you have a footage from any camera, first thing you need to do, you need to find your hero shot, which I believe is this for me. It's where it's as sharp as it could be. So this is my hero shot, and you need to know the camera information before you grade properly in Davinci Resolve. And this was shot in Blackmagic Pocket Cinema camera 6K. So if you shot with an array, you have to convert it to the right color space. If you shot with a Sony, you have to use S-Log color space. So just know the camera I shot with. But I'm going to be dropping these footages in the description, so you can download and follow along. So let me turn all the nodes off. As you can see, it's pretty hectic. Yeah, not so complicated, sure, but yeah, it's still a bit complicated. So let's turn everything off. Let's delete everything. Let's actually delete everything. So now we're back to score 1, 0, no nodes. Turn this off, turn this off. So just one node. I'm going to create 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We might add more later, but let's just use this. So now the way I do my color grading process is that I try to emulate a film camera. Film cameras are you choose actual tapes, but this is a digital camera, so I'm trying to emulate a film camera using color grading. So the first thing I do, I add my color space transform, which is to change this log profile to an actual proper color space, 709 color space. And if you look at my settings here in my color management, you can see my color science is Davinci YRGB. Then my timeline color space is Rec 709. So you can change it to Rec 709. So basically when I change it here, it will just change my color science for me because I set my timeline color science space to Rec 709. I don't know if that makes sense. So let's label our nodes. You can set your what do you call this, to rename a node. You can set your keys. Well, I'm not going to show you that now. You can just Google that online and find out to set your keys. So for mine, I set it to tab. So if I want to rename a node, I press tab, and now I can rename it. So I rename it to CST, which is color space transform, and this I will rename to FPE, which stands for film print emulation, and here I'll name it to green. Alright, so why do I keep my color space transform FPE and green at the end of the node tree? Well, it's way better to manipulate your footages before your color space transform, because like I said, it's changing from a film log that is a log profile to Rec 709. So it's way better to manipulate your footages. Sorry about that. I think I need to drink water a bit. But it's way better to manipulate your footages before your color space transform. It gives you more room to work with. It's like somebody gives you an already graded picture or video and tells you to grade it. You get it's already graded, so manipulating things will not be so easy. That's as simple as I can explain it. Alright, so I'm going to be adding a color space transform. So as you can see, just search for color space transform in your effects, color space transform, drag and drop it right here. Then you set your input gamma to Blackmagic design film. This is why I said you need to know a bit of information about your camera, and this was shot with a Blackmagic. So if you shot with an array, you can set it to array log C. If you shot with a Sony, you can set it to S-Log, or is it? Yeah, Sony S-Log 2 or S-Log 3, whatever you shot with. So mine is Blackmagic design film. Then my output color space, like I showed you here, is already Rec 709, so I don't need to worry about that. Then my output gamma. Now because I'm adding a film print emulation, because I'm trying to emulate a film camera, so My film print emulation is Kodak 2383, which is kind of famous and it comes with Davinci Resolve. So that's what I'm trying to emulate. The only way it's going to work is if I use a different output gamma, which is a Cineon film log. Otherwise, it's going to be looking really, really dark and I don't know, crunched. That's, yeah, really, really dark and crunched. So where is it? Where is it? Output gamma, Cineon film log right here. So now that is done. Now I can add my film print emulation. Just right click, go to lot, film looks, 2383 D55, 2383 D60, 233 D65. These are just different color temperatures, warmer, neutral, and colder. So you can use anyone. I'm just going neutral because for this grade I want to achieve this blue, pinky kind of look, desaturated look. So I need the neutral film print emulation. So for our grain, we'll get back to our grain later. I know what, let's just add it now. Go to effects, search for grain. I need to move this up a bit. First grain, drag it here, then set me. I want to use a 35 mm presets right here. So that's just it. If I zoom in later on, you can see the grain added a bit in the footage because I'm trying to emulate a film camera, and the film camera has a grain, which is a chemical process that results from a chemical process. So after that, I enter my next node, which is my saturation node, because obviously this is really saturated. So let me show you what will happen if you don't change your color space to Cineon film log. Turn this off. You can see now it might look really good right now. But this does not give you the ability to mess around with some things because now it is already crunchy. So it does not give you the ability to change things and edit the way you want to, because you have to add the contrast yourself, not a film print emulation doing it. So it does not give you the ability. So now turn it back on. We're back to where we started. So let's label our node. This will be our sat node. So this stands for saturation. Now you can easily just go to your sat here and boost up your saturation. There's no difference, it makes no difference. Let me undo that, it makes no difference. But I like using my RGB mixer because you can get some trippy effects here, but I just like using my RGB mixer. So in your red channel, just your red output, you take your red channel all the way up, max it out. Your green output, take your green channel all the way up. Your blue output, take your blue channel all the way up. So as you can see, it still gives the same result. Now to show the difference, let me just add an extra node before it. And I'll just use my saturation. Where is it? Saturation. Take my saturation all the way to 100%. So now why this thing is looking like this, because these two nodes are acting together. But let me turn this one off. You see that they're the same thing. This is with ordinary saturation, and this is with RGB mixer. More or less the same thing. So you can achieve the same thing using both of them. Let me be sure I maxed everything out. All right, this is maxed out and this is maxed out. All right, beautiful. But right now you can see that it's a bit washed out because we have not used our primaries to adjust the exposure. So judging from our waveform, you can see here I need to pull down my shadows and balance this image out. So I will go to my first node, which is usually my primaries. Now this is my primaries, my color with primaries. So take my lift down all the way. Don't be afraid of crunching your blacks. Yeah, I see some color grading videos where they usually leave their blacks because they're afraid of crunching the blacks because it will be too, you have lost detail in your blacks. But no, don't be afraid. If you watch actual Hollywood films, you will see that they crunch their blacks. The blacks are really crunched. So let's go down, maybe right here, like it right here. Then take my gain up a bit, take my gamma up a bit. Okay, so I kind of like it right here. Maybe take it down a bit, add a bit of contrast around here. Okay, that's fine. So before, after, beautiful, very, very beautiful. Before and after. All right, so my next node is going to be curves, and what I'm going to do here is just get some S curve looking thingy. So I'm going to add a point here, add another point in the midtones and the highlights. All right, so we just take this. I'm trying to get this S curve, take this down a bit, not too much, take this up a bit. Now I don't really like the way here is way too bright, because your subject should be the center of attention. So I'm going to take it down a bit, take this up, down. All right, I kind of like it right here. You can see before and after. It just adds a little bit of punch to it. Beautiful, using curves. So now I'm not done. Now let me go to my blue channel. Go to add a point here, add another point here, add another point here. All right, so I'm going to add a bit of blues to my blacks, just a bit. You can see this is way too much, just a bit. Now why is showing this, what do they call it, greenish looking, okay, yellowish looking thing, is because as I'm moving this up, you see here is moving down, so it's adding that yellow to my shadows. So going too much, it's not really good. Just take it a bit. I'm adding a bit blue to my shadows. Then let me add this hazy effect. Now this is no longer my blue channel, so I want to add a hazy effect. You can see way too much. So just add a bit. It makes it look vintage. Before, after. So now let me turn everything off using Alt D. Everything is off. Turn it on one by one. Ctrl D, CST, FPE, grain. You cannot really see the grain right now. Saturation, primaries, colors. Very beautiful, very beautiful. All right, so for my next node, this is where I usually tweak around some colors and all. I'm going to call this hue change. Why I'm calling this hue change? Because I want to mess around with its individual colors. So, but I don't actually want to change them. Let me take a proper seat here. All right, but I don't want to actually change because I like this blue and pink color palettes is going on right here. Now, color grading is not really magic. It's not really magic actually. You have to do a lot in CAM before you can get good results in grading. So I shot this personally. I shot this and I chose my color palette specifically. I'm going to put the color palettes up somewhere. I chose it specifically blue, pink, because I went to the location and saw that the walls were blue. So I chose my my actor's costume to be pink. So quite beautiful. Then carrying on. Now, so what do I want to do here? Let's see. Okay, these blues, they are really too bright for me. I want to take them down because I want this my bump the mic a little. So I want this my actor to stand out. So I can achieve that severally. Let's try if this works using our hue versus luminance. If I click on it, this is, by the way, this is in your curve section. If I click on hue versus luminance, tap on this blue, take my luminance down, you can see that it does not really do much. I can also put here, you can see it does not really do much. So this will not work for what we are trying to achieve. So I can qualify this. Now using qualifiers too much is not really good, but for this it works fine. So let me qualify my blues using Shift H to see where I maxed out. Then taking this plus icon to add additional points. No, that's too much. Then taking my minus to remove some points that I don't want. Like asking, oh my goodness, that's too much. I clicked the wrong place. So I still clicked on the wrong. Oh my goodness, what have I done? All right, so let's go back again. So now this is it. Beautiful. So let's fade our selection out a bit. Now that I've selected, I've qualified this part. So this is where we are going to be touching with our grade. For this part, we're going to leave it out. So now we can get a better key though, but I'm just too lazy to do that right now. We can get a better key. We can actually mask out this part and track it so we can separate them, but that is way too complicated for this. This will work fine. So using your offset, and take it down. Sorry, not your offset, using your gain. You can take it down just a bit. Yeah, a bit. Now, see if you do it like this, you see it's way too much. Now you can see these are parts that were not really selected. So if you feel like you can do a proper key, if you want to. So just take it down like this, just like this is fine for me. So off, on, off, on. So basically I'm just reshaping and I'm relighting. Yeah, this is quite beautiful. You can see how our model stands out in the shot. So the next thing I want to do right now is reshaping of light. Oh, before we get to that, I think I want to make this pink here pop out. So that is why I added another node which I call hue pop. Hue stands for color, by the way. So let's turn it on. So hue pop. Now we can still go and try with this. Where is it? Hue versus saturation. We can select a pink right here and we can boost it. Let me make another selection. Okay. See, we can boost the selection up and make another point here so that we don't end up selecting blues. We can increase it here. Watch what happens to our shades. I'm not using a mouse here, so it's a bit difficult to scroll down. Alright, watch what happens to her shirt. You can see. Now this is way too much. So using our vector scope, let's see. Okay, well, I see beautiful. You can see how beautiful this toning is, split toning. Very beautiful. Alright, let's move on. So I don't want to desaturate it. I actually want to boost it up. You can see it's becoming saturated from our vector scope. So I want to leave it right here. Finish. So that it will stand out a bit. Then look at the difference. Just a bit. Looking beautiful. So next thing I want to add, I think I should delete this node and add it here. Shift S to add a node before. So now I want to add my vignette. Now you can use the power windows for that. I want to use a circular power window. So just try to follow the direction of light. From here, the light is really facing front, like it's coming from the front in this shot. But you can see, let's turn this off. From this, you can see that the light is kind of coming from here a bit. Alright, you can see the light is kind of coming here a bit. So let's try and mimic that with our vignette. So just rotate it slightly, not too much. Then increase it. Okay. Then now I want to increase the softness way much to go crazy on this right now. So let us do Shift H so you can see where I'm masking out. And this is beautiful. So now I'm inverting this because I want to mask out here and all I want to touch is here. Now without this soft, see what it does. It makes it way too harsh. So just take it up a bit and patched. Alright, so I like this selection right now. Then I'll use my offset, take it down. Just here slightly, take it down, maybe reduce the soft a bit. Or reduce the size a bit. Okay, that's quite beautiful. See the difference before, after. It just makes her stand out a lot. Honestly, I'm loving this footage right now. Before, after. Alright, so the next thing I want to do is another reshaping of light. So I want to darken here a bit, to get this shade of light and dark. Is when a footage is has that shade, is more cinematic. So let's add another node at the back. I'm going to call this light shape. Okay, so still the same process as the power windows, but this one I'm not using a circular power window, I'm using the rectangular one. Just take it right down here, up, again side like this. So I want to create this contrast here. Shift H to see what you're doing. So this is the part that's going to mask out. Now I don't want it to be really strong here, so I'm going to feather it out a bit. All right, there. I like that selection. So now I can take it down. Now just take it down, play around with it. Notice it's way too much. Then feather it more because it's way too punchy for me right now. Feather it more. Now let's go in. This is before, after, before, after, before and after. I think it's affecting the other side of our face. So let's move down. See our selection move down a bit. All right, right there. So before, after, before, after. Just beautiful. It adds more depth to your image. So okay, these are our nodes currently. Right now we can pack it here. There's not really much to do right now. But let's go for our skin tones. Add another node here. I'll call it skin tones. Wait a minute, skin tones. Alright. So for our skin tones, we add another qualifier. We select our skin, Shift H to see what you're selecting. So plus to just tap around your neck. I'm just tapping around the neck so that you can get a proper selection. Alright, the minus where you don't want. I think this place has a bit of skin tone color, that's fine. But now I'm getting pink. I'm getting this pink, which is what I don't want. Why is selecting this pink is because it's a bit transparent, so it's picking up our skin tones inside. So don't really worry about that. Just try to get as much as you can, the best clear key as much as you can. So like it right here. This is okay for me. I'm going to do this. Then in my virtual scope, let's see. Let's feather this stuff out a bit. Feather it out a bit right there. Like it right there. My virtual scope is a bit away from this skin tone line. You can see it's moving towards the yellow a bit. So with my printer lights on, color, printer light hotkeys, full printer lights, you can see your settings here. This is what they do. If you have a number pad, your plus on your number pad is to increase your offset, plus is to increase, enter is to decrease. You can see it here. To add more reds, number pad 7, to remove reds, number pad 4. So just memorize this. Alright, so now as you're showing yellow for my printer lights, what is yellow here? You can see yellow, number pad 3 and number pad full stop. So let's go, let's try to take more yellow out of the shot because your skin tones are going towards yellow. You can see this Y stands for yellow. So minus from yellow, oh my goodness, undo. So now what happened is that I did not turn my number pad on. So now let me turn my number pad on. Alright, so minus, you can see it's going away from yellow. If I took it too far, look at it, it has gone away from yellow. So by pressing 3 on your number pad, it goes back to yellow. So right here, just on my skin tone line, I like that. So let's go down to the skin. Before, after, beautiful. You can see how yellow and muddy this is, but beautiful, beautiful. Now again, I wanted to go for this pink skin tone look thing because like in Joker, you have a pink, that skin tones are actually around pink, I think. So you can be stylized with the pink tones, but just do it right. Don't be overboard with it or to look fake. So let's go. Okay, I think my skin tones are a bit dark. Let me just boost it up again with my game. Let's boost it up so I can stand out more. Then with my pink, I can use my tints just a little, not too much. Now my skin tone is way too saturated for my liking right now, so I can drop my all in my skin tone node. By the way, I can drop my saturation down just right here because I'm going for this saturated look. Okay, now this is way too much, so take it back up again right here. Maybe take my tint just to 1. Beautiful. Before, after, before. Some guys might like this. I'm actually liking it a bit, but it's not correct, so I like this more. And I think this is way too much. Now looking back at it, let's take my pinks out a bit. So I'll add more yellow with 3, maybe like this. All right here, I like it perfectly balanced. So you can call it quits here. This is actually beautiful right now. You can call it quits. If there's anything, let me see, what should I add? Maybe in my primaries I can add a little bit of warmth. Just not too much, just a bit. Like, let me go with 10. You know what? Let's go with 2. I think that's fine. Yeah, just a bit of warmth. Maybe a bit of pink. just slightly. All right, right here is beautiful. You can call it quits. I think I'll actually call it quits here. So let's turn everything off. CST, FPE, grain, SAT, primaries, curves, hue change, hue pop, skin tones, light reshaping, vignettes. Quite beautiful. And let's go full screen and play it. Okay, so I think it's entered the next clip here. So that is just it. Simple, no complex stuff like that. I can really go more complex and start adding like halation, glow, some other things, but right now this is as good as can get. So do I still have more time? I don't want to make this tutorial a bit long, but let's just try and do a quick breakdown of this. Let's do a quick breakdown of this. Oh, I think I'll use this instead. All right, a quick breakdown. So you can see my nodes here. For this, I use the parallel node for my vignette, a parallel node. Then, so it's still the same process. Let's turn everything off. CST, FPE, grain, SAT, primaries, curves, hue. Now this is my hue change. What I did here was that I don't like these warm green leaves that are here because it does not follow the palette. So changing a leaf from green to another color can really make it look ugly. Let me show you that. If I use my hue versus hue, I try to change it to, let's say, where is it? Okay, sorry, my node was off. So if I try to change it to another color, it looks very weird and artificial. So I'm not going to do that right now. I'm just going to leave it the way it is. So the best thing to do about that, if it does not follow your color palette, is to desaturate it, like I did here. I desaturated it. I made it a bit greener though. I made it a bit greener, then I desaturated it. You can see that from here. I made it desaturated, so it just makes the color not so out there, and it's beautiful. So the next thing I added was my skin tones. You can see here, before, after, just made the skin pop a little. Then my clean blacks, which I did not add in my previous footage. I think I made a mistake with that. So my clean blacks, just to make your blacks blacks and your whites whites. The way you do that is here, just desaturate this, take it down, so your blacks blacks and your whites whites, and that's it. Then that add glow. Yeah, I added a bit of glow so I can make here pop and make it look dreamy. Then my face vignettes, all I did here, like I said, I tried to follow the light's direction. So still shot on Blackmagic. So I just made them pop out, make them the center of attraction before, after, then I darkened the edges. So that's pretty much it. Let's do a recap. CST, FPE, grain, SAT, primaries, curves, hue, skin tone, clean blacks, glow, face vignettes, border vignettes, and that's all. So thank you guys for watching this video. I hope I explained it properly, and I hope you got a thing or two from this tutorial. That's it guys. See you next time.